Hey, would you like to know some of the great things happening here at Quantum Rehab? The company culture, all the things that they have going on. What about finding out some more information about the amazing backup camera out there? What about the non-funded items out there that you can tell that they had us in mind when they created these things? Or what about some of the feedback, some of the questions that you have provided to the team and how they answered those questions? You've come to the right place. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane, Quantum Ambassador, also host of Power Talk. We're going to be joined by some amazing guests here coming up here shortly. Before we do, got a special message for you therapists out there. Have you seen our new app out there? It is the PQ365. Make sure you download this app. You can find it in your Google Play Store or your Apple Store, and we even have QR codes right there. So definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. In the words of the late, great John Hammond from Jurassic Park, we spared no expense with this app. It is so amazing. It is so awesome. And don't forget, everyone out there, connect with us on social media. Quantum Rehab on all social media platforms except for IG. IG is Quantum_Rehab. But all the rest of the social media platforms, Quantum Rehab. Let's connect. Let's have some fun. Ready to talk to our amazing guests? Let's do this. I am so excited to have these group of amazing individuals from Quantum Rehab. We're going to get to know them. You know, they do all the great things behind the scenes. So let's find out who they are and what they do. Jay, you're up first. Jay, introduce yourself to everyone.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jay Brislin. I'm the Vice President of Quantum Rehab. I have been at Quantum for over 20 years now, worked in several different departments, and obviously have the pleasure of working with this group and the rest of our team members. Obviously, we're in charge of sales, product development, education, a little bit of everything, and just glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, Jay, welcome. And Alex, want you to everybody who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex Chesney. I am the clinical sales manager for the Midwest South. So I do actually clinical education. So I've been with Quantum about almost 3 years now. My background is as an occupational therapist in inpatient neurological rehab, where I got to do prescribing for seating and wheeled mobility equipment. So that's kind of my main background.
Awesome. You, like Jay, have receipts when it comes to type of technology and also some behind the scenes training as well. Welcome you as well, Alex. So, Dave, how are you?
I'm doing great, Paul. Thanks for having us here. Dave Burtz, VP of Western Sales for Quantum Rehab. I've been here 6 years now and been doing the ATP stuff for 25 years. I've worked on the provider side and the manufacturer side. So seen a lot of transitions in technology and equipment. So very excited for what our future holds and what we talk about today.
Awesome. Great to have you, Dave, and welcome, JB. Last but not least.
Always last. I'll take it. I'm JB Radeville. I'm clinical education manager for the Eastern U.S. And I'm an ATP by trade, I guess, or practice. So the majority of my experience in the complex rehab industry has been from that supplier side. So I'm happy to be here, and hopefully that'll lend a few good talking points.
Awesome. Well, welcome, everyone. We're so happy to have you with us today to give a glimpse of what goes on behind the scenes over at this amazing company right here. And one thing is, I noticed that you guys are introducing yourself and just the diverse group that we have back here. We have ones from the clinical side and then ones from the product side. And how does that really shape the company culture over at Quantum?
I can take this. Yeah, I'll take this real quick. It's pretty great. Again, just being here 20 years, I've kind of seen us develop into a really strong CRT company. But one of the things that, our CEO, Scott, has always done a really great job on is, making sure that we're always humble, that we're always listening, and that we're always acting like a team. And I think we try to do that all of us have different things that we're really good at and things that are in our wheelhouse. But we also recognize what the other group, what the other people are good at too. And You know, there's no egos, there's none of that kind of stuff. We really try to work as a team to, you know, have input on what's going on from a product perspective, what's going on, and how are we educating the industry. How are we taking care of our customers? How are we taking care of the people that are actually in the chairs that are using our chairs? So, you know, one of the things that, you know, Scott always kind of presses on us is we're a privately owned company, and it creates a really nice family atmosphere. And we're in this for the long haul. We really want to sit there and continue to not only make chairs that are great for people right now, but make chairs that are great for people 5, 10, 20 years down the road. You know, we want to be the Apple of the space. And that's, you know, that's a Scott copyright. So, you know, you can't take that one from me, but, you know, but that's really what his goal is. And I think it's great to have such a great group of team. Like we're just a really good team. And, you know, it comes right from the top down, and he really portrays a lot of that just passion to continue to do what's right. Like we want the people that are using our chairs to say, hey, listen, I know I don't want to have a chair, but if I do, I want to have a Quantum chair. And that's going to give me the most independence and allow me to do the things that I can do the best. So, you know, those are kind of really where our, you know, I guess the umbrella statement of our culture is.
I love that. I love that. Now I have a tough question for everyone here. Now I'm going to throw some tough hardball journalism questions, right? I got to put that certificate that I went to school with to work right now. So here's a tough question. What was it about Quantum that drew you as an individual to want to be a part of the team? You know, what was the lure about it? And you want to go ahead and tackle that first, Alex?
Yeah. So I think for me, you know, I came from the clinical side. As a therapist, I worked with a really great team, very collaborative team. And one of the things that kind of drew me to Quantum is, you know, I worked with our reps, you know, was fortunate to work with many manufacturer reps at our facility and with their products. But Quantum, there's just a different thing about their reps and their field reps. It really felt like family. I felt like I was going to somebody, I was telling them what my client needed. And there was always this trust. There was always this reliability. I didn't feel like I had to be like an expert at Quantum or an expert at, you know, what exactly I was needing from this chair from a mechanical standpoint or electronic standpoint. I was able to just kind of say, this is what my client's really needing, or this is my client's feedback. Can you help me with this? And they collaborate so well and really made my job easy, made my client happy, as far as always looking at solutions and letting me know, could they do it? If they couldn't do it, they would direct me to, you know, here's some of your options I know that are out there. So it was really just a collaboration. And I always felt like they were very focused on what I needed and what I was advocating for my clients. And that's what was, you know, most important for me. So coming over, you know, it's different coming from the clinical world and switching over to kind of the manufacturer side. But I was really impressed at how much they do value clinical input. They do ask us. They ask us what we hear from other clinicians. You know, what are we hearing from clients that we're working with of what they want? And I think part of what demonstrates that is, you know, one of the things that came out recently is the backup camera. You know, I kind of laugh, but I always had clients that would say, when are we going to get a backup camera on one of these things? Because my car can do it. And we'd have to give them just like a little mirror and tell them, yeah, I know. I don't know why they don't have a backup camera on here. And now we do. And it's not really because, oh, this is going to be some product that, you know, is really just going to push our chair alone. It's really to meet that demand of our clients saying, like, I need to see behind me. I want this. And so again, like speaking to Scott, that's something somebody brought up to him. And he's like, you know what, this is the need, this is the want. And so we're going to do that. And so I just love seeing like the passion and the drive and everyone collaborating as a family. It feels like a family.
You know, I remember when I had a conversation with Scott when we were talking about the backup camera, and I said, Scott, hold your hand up like this, release it. I said, it's a mic drop, what you guys did over there. Because it really was, you know, and that's something that being a person with a disability who's been a wheelchair user for over 28 years, you know, that's something that I see is so invaluable for us when we're backing up. I know I talked to Jay about this before. Jay, my walls appreciate the backup camera, and so and my wife does too, because the walls will get scraped up like it used to. But yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And Dave, what was it about Quantum that drew you to want to be a part of this amazing team?
Yeah, great question, Paul. For me, it's focus on what we're doing. You know, being a company that focuses just on power mobility, it really gives us an outlet to put all of our resources into developing a clinical outcome for a consumer. It is definitely our number one focus. To some of Alex's points, it's allow us to run roundtables with different clinicians and different end users and focus on that at a speed that I feel we do just a great job of bringing things to market in a timely fashion. We're pushing technology, we're pushing advancements, and really trying to perfect the consumer experience. And that's something that's very important to me, is making sure that we're laser focused. You know, Scott always refers to it as an Olympic sport, and we want to be the best in the sport that we're good at. So that's why we've just put a hyper focus on, power wheelchairs and making the best out there.
I love that. And JB, same question to you, my friend.
No, save me for last again. Come on, man. They got all the good answers already. No, truthfully, it was a really hard decision when I came from the supplier side to Quantum, where I wanted to go, because I was always a firm believer that it matters the company that you work for. And it's always been that way for me. You have to believe in the company, you have to believe in the products, and you have to believe that folks are going to be supporting you. And that's really what, I guess, if I had to pick one word, it would be humble. We try hard, we admit mistakes, but we always try to do better. Always trying to push the envelope, trying to push the boundaries of rehab, with backup camera, just like you guys were talking about. And I like that. We're not ones to bash others. We're just here to show our worth, and hopefully folks will value that.
Awesome. Yeah, you leave the bashing to us, don't you? We have the bully pulpit with that, yes, because we don't want you guys to get in trouble with that. So you
can say anything you want.
There you go. And Jake, let me ask you that question too. What was it about the opportunity at Quantum that drew you to want to be a part of this team, Jay?
Well, my answer is probably a little different just based on the timeline, but it wasn't Quantum Rehab when I was first hired. I was working per diem as a therapist, and the market for a therapist wasn't really that good at the time, and Pride was looking for people that had a clinical background to really kind of help move this rehab division forward. So I got on because, in all honesty, I'd be lying if I didn't say it. I needed a job. But the moment I got in there, and the moment I met the people, and the moment I just saw, like, okay, what we're actually doing for patients, it actually made me realize, like, wow, this is what I want to do. And this is what I like doing. And, it's funny. I went and delivered a chair 2 weeks ago to this little girl locally. And her dad said to me, he goes, why are you delivering this chair? And I said, listen, if I couldn't deliver chairs still to this point, I wouldn't like my job. I said, because this is what allows me to kind of do what I went to school with, but in a different kind of manner. And, and then we just grew, our culture changed, and it just got better. And it just got, as the years went on, and, we got, we solidified our team and all that kind of stuff. It's just been a great experience. It really has. I don't really know how else to put it. And, I'm just lucky enough to be a part of it.
And I was about to say that too. Like the dad said, Jay, like, what do you got delivering chairs? You're the VP, but again, that just shows, just the amazing company culture. You look how down to earth Scott is. You look how down to earth you are, Dave and JB, and also Alex. I mean, you guys are pretty high up in the organization out there, but just the way that you guys, have that humble mindset, it really comes across in the way that you deal with us. And we really appreciate that. And when you look at one thing that I really appreciate about Quantum is that you want customer feedback. You thrive off of customer feedback. You don't shy away from customer feedback. You don't get offended by customer feedback. Why is that the case? Who wants to tackle that? Who wants to go first?
I'll tackle it first.
All right. Yeah, JB, we'll let you go first. I'll save you for last. Go ahead,
JB.
I'm not afraid of customer feedback because it always drives to make things better. You know, I haven't been here as long as you guys have been, but I'll tell you that that's something that has always been huge to me. On the supplier side, I could say, hey guys, this is no good. This isn't working. And changes would come down the road. You know, that's what I always kind of really enjoyed about it is that, you know, first time you do anything, doesn't matter if it's riding a bike or whatever, you're not going to be the best. You know, first edition is always first edition. That's what it is. It could be great, but there's always something you wish you did differently with it. And that's kind of what I see with Quantum, and I really like is that we're not afraid to, you know, to take our faults or to make a misstep, but we're going to try hard. We're going to do everything we can to make it better every single time.
Awesome. Dave, you're in the hot seat now, Dave. Get your thoughts.
Perfect. No, I think our consumers are the heartbeat of this company, and we're in a unique industry where every single consumer is completely different. Everybody's daily use is different. Everybody's needs, everybody's ADLs are completely different. And we're not here to design one chair that we feel is going to meet, you know, the broad spectrum. Every single person is different. I think that's what's exciting every day is we get feedback from consumers that sometimes it's a one-off deal that changes that person's life and makes their day so much easier. And I think that's why consumer feedback is so important to us as a company.
I definitely appreciate that. And for those who are watching and listening right now, if you have any questions right now for ones right now, go ahead and put them in the comment. And if we don't get to your questions this time, we'll make sure we'll get to them next time. And the one thing I wanted to really highlight too is the different pieces of innovation that you have out there that are not funded, but they're definitely a functional focus. And let's talk about some of the things like the catheter bag and all these other things right there. Who'd like to tackle those things for us? Any takers? I'm gonna pick somebody.
I mean,
All right,
I can take it.
All right, Alex, go ahead.
So, coming from the clinical side, I think a lot of times people don't realize, you know, how big of a difference those little things make. So yes, like the catheter bag cover, a lot of people laugh and we're like, oh, we got this catheter bag cover. But I worked with clients with neurological conditions or, you know, post-spinal cord injury, and nobody wants to have their catheter bag on display all the time. And so people would come up with their own, or hopefully a family member knew how to sew things. But I think that just shows the little details in our commitment. You know, our catheter bag cover matches the, you know, integrity and the back look of our cushions and our backrest so that it blends into the system, because somebody doesn't need to pay attention to that. They need to pay attention to the person. And that client needs to be able to feel like somebody's not focusing on things other than themselves. They're a person, they're living their day-to-day life. So I think those little things, although they're not funded, they're very reasonable as far as an expense. And it depends. Everybody's different. Like Dave was mentioning, every client's unique, and what's going to matter to them and the little details is going to be different for everyone. So if they're really focused on, hey, that's really cool, you know, I can get a catheter bag cover, it's just going to blend in with my chair, nobody's going to notice it, I'm willing to pay out of pocket for that if that's not covered, because that matters to me. I don't have somebody that can sew, and I don't want somebody to notice that. So it's the little details that really do matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, that is so true. That's so. Anybody else want to jump in and talk about some of these other things, like either eye level or the glove box or anything? Jay, you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, just in addition to what Alex said, you know, she's absolutely right. Like, one of the things that's been nice about working for Scott Muser is the funding piece is something that he feels that we as an industry can continue to fight. And because he doesn't believe things like eye level shouldn't be funded. He doesn't believe things that like shouldn't be funded. So it's a really awesome mindset for when you hear somebody that's just not focused on, okay, like I think Dave mentioned it before, not just making a cookie cutter type of product, but making something that people actually need. Before we got Fender lights, like Scott was offended that lights cost so much money and that weren't funded. And that's kind of where his mindset went, like, even from a development standpoint. Like, we obviously are developing towards what funding does. But when we look at our accessories, we're sitting there going, there's no reason why a person should not have the ability to get an eye level, not have the ability to have a catheter bag so it's not out in the open and everybody's looking at it. Even a glove box to throw their phone in, and like, it's just little small things. And obviously we try to make them affordable, but on the other side of the coin though, too, we're working hard to get things funded as well. We feel really confident that the seat elevation or the seat elevation is going to get funded here coming into the next year. And we've been working really hard on that. And that's been one of the big pieces that, we feel is huge. I also, and this is maybe my opinion to a point, but I also feel that we can start fighting for that backup camera a little bit too, because I do believe that there's a lot of safety aspects in that backup camera that can easily be justified for somebody that's using a power chair. So we kind of look at those kind of things a lot too. And it's nice to have a CEO that is fired up about those accessories and wants people to use them. It's trust me, we get reports on how many backup cameras we do every day, so he knows.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks. Either JB or Dave, you want to hop in and talk about this as well?
Yeah, I think this is just the beginning of making accessories that improve end users' lives. The backup camera really has been a game changer. I was texting with an end user this morning who was riding the local train system here in Denver and telling me, how much this backup camera has changed his ability just to get around in tight spaces. He always kind of freaked out going into small stores and was always afraid he was going to bump into something. And, this is just the beginning of different things that are coming with technology advancing as fast as it is and making these type of products more accessible and more cost effective. I'm just super excited for the things that we're developing now that we're going to be able to introduce in the next couple of years.
Awesome. Yeah, I am too. What you guys have been able to do just with the backup camera, and I'm looking so forward to what's coming in the future. And JB, you want to hop in and push your thought?
Accessories have always been a big thing. From the dealer side, folks will say, well, does it come with a cup holder? What can I charge my phone from it? What kind of stuff is out there? And to piggyback what everybody else was talking about, straight down from leadership, it's we want to make sure that things are functional, that they're affordable. And if people have the opportunity, that have the need for something or the want for something, they shouldn't go without. Especially because of price tag. It's the things that you'll find that we offer are, I believe, to be quality, but they don't come at a cost where it's going to put somebody in a real bind. And I think that's a big thought that goes into each one of these accessories as we do it. Try to be as accessible as possible with price point as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. When you look at the price point for the backup camera and the other ones, and Jay, I just want to piggyback what you said, Jay, too, about getting these things funded. Someone like myself, the tray, someone who does public speaking, someone who does a lot of things for my wheelchair, to me, those are necessities out there. And it's great to see that Quantum as a whole is advocating for us to get these funded, because it really should, because it's quality of life. It's independence. And we appreciate, how you guys are really taking the bull by the horn, when it comes to this. And speaking about customer feedback and customer questions, what are some customer feedback and questions that either of you have received that you would like to talk about today? Because maybe someone who's listening and watching right now is like, you know what, that's the question that I had too. Anybody have any questions or any feedback they want to share with us right now?
I could start at the number one question I get all the time is, can we make these chairs go faster? And it is something that we work on and, again, focused on making chairs so that they're still safe, that they're stable, but pushing the limits on speeds. People are just more active. Cities are getting bigger, crossing streets, making sure that, if you're going down a grade, that the stability of the chair is there. So that's the number one question I get, and it's definitely a focus with a couple of the new products coming out.
Yeah, I bet you one's listening and watching right now like, yeah, I want to know, how can I go fast? So appreciate you sharing that, Dave. Any other feedbacks and questions that you have gotten from customers out there?
Well, kind of speaking to eye level and funding and stuff, I feel like I do still get asked a lot as a clinician, how do I get that? Or I think I really needed that Elevate feature. And so I think that's a huge deal, kind of some of the things you're talking about of knowing what benefits you and the consumer or the client advocating for themselves or saying, this is what I noticed this makes it easier for me to do, and seeing what are your options for that. I think a lot of times when people go to get a chair, they might feel a little intimidated by the group that's deciding things. Just making sure you speak up and say, hey, I saw that, would that benefit me, or could I try it, or I noticed I had that on a chair that I was trying and it was easier for me to reach, or it was easier for me to get to my cabinet in my house. So just making sure that, people, they ask about that, and I just tell them, like, no, like you can try to get this covered. And if not, we have things like Quantum Cares as a program we have that people can apply for getting that seat elevator covered if insurance turns down that justification.
Quantum Cares, and if ones would like to know information about that, like today, what's the best website to push them to, Alex?
So going to quantumrehab.com, we have information on there about justifying eye level, reaching out about Quantum Cares. Probably the best solution is just getting with your local rep and reaching out, having that ATP they're working with reach out and just say, hey, I heard about Quantum Cares. I saw it on the website. What do I do to try to get this seat elevator funded?
See, I'm so glad we're doing something like this because, the more of the community knows about this, the options out there, I think the better. And I appreciate you bringing that up, Alex, because I know, speaking for myself and others in the community, we really appreciate it, knowing the different options out there. And Jay, let's get your thoughts.
I'll take this a little bit of a different direction. One of the things that has really kind of made us unique, or has helped us move along over the years and develop the right products, was our custom department. So if we go back several years, a lot of our products were customized or one-offed. And as we started doing more and more of them, they became a part of the order form or a part of a normal pickable product. So, one of the other things we do a lot too, and we get asked all kinds of different questions, can my chair do this? Can I have that? Whatever the case may be. We've mounted and modified gun racks to put on some of these chairs for hunters. Just silly things like that. So we have a custom department that really, the one thing I always say to people is, I'm like, if you don't see it on the order form, it does not mean that we can't do something. We obviously look and we put things through testing and we make sure that they're safe, but we've done a lot of custom one-offs that have actually turned into standardized product over several years. And, it's one of those things where people have all kinds of different needs. Dave said that before. What's important to one person is not important to another. And, we've been able to do a lot of different things. Like, we've customized a seat for Siamese twins on one chair with 2 seats on it. There's a lot of things that we've been able to kind of do just based on asking a question. Can we do this? Can we do that? We have a lot of great engineers that, we all kind of put our minds together. I know Alex, JB, and Dave have all had this situation where a client asked them, can we do something? And we're on the phone with our R&D department going, giving our little input, but that's beyond our scope sometimes. And then all of a sudden somebody comes and we find a solution. So, we're always kind of learning and always trying to figure out what those new solutions are and how to, take a special order and actually make it into an easily pickable product or options for that matter.
I love that. Any other feedback and questions that either of you have received from either your clients out there?
So I get one a lot, and this is kind of a risky move to even bring up, but so where can I take this chair? Right? It's like, okay, so here are the ground rules. You don't want to go swimming with this. This is not intended for that. But it does sort of lead to some of the innovation that I've seen in my time here with suspension, with our smooth ride suspension. It's an automotive grade suspension, coilover, dampened shock. It's absolutely been incredible for sitting tolerance. And when I kind of go down that conversation with folks, it's what are you limited by? And a lot of times it's by rough terrain, or they have because of all those jolting and vibratory forces, they have a limitation in going over those obstacles because they're afraid they're going to lose control. And so that's something I feel like they really took to heart with R&D, and especially with the newer launches that we've had is incorporating suspension. And I know that insurance doesn't like the word comfort, but truthfully, you're allowed to use your chair a lot longer if you're comfortable doing it, and you're more willing to do so as well.
I love that. And you have been looking at my IG, have you? I've been taking things where I shouldn't take it. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, you got to push the limits.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, and I learned my lesson. Though I appreciate that. But in closing, some closing thoughts. Alex, closing thoughts.
I mean, really, I just appreciate having this conversation. I think just letting people know, we're here to listen. Quantum's always here to listen. We want to keep innovating. But again, like we've kind of reiterated, it's all about the consumer. It's all about the client. And that's the way it should be at the end of the day. Is everything, in the CRT world or in assistive technology should really be client-centered. And I think Quantum is 100% committed to that. And so the way we do that is getting that customer feedback and just interacting. And we want that interaction.
Amen. And I can co-sign on that. Absolutely. Dave, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just say as we get back to a lot more in-person meetings and abilities expos and that type of stuff, I know me personally is excited to see everybody and show off all the new stuff that we have coming in 2022.
Awesome. JB, see, I'm not going to make you last, JB. So
you're going to save the best for last this time. Just know, we're here for you. If you have questions and you don't know exactly what that question is, we'll help you figure it out. We're here to support and truthfully, if it's something that we can't do, we'll let you know. We'll be honest with you. But, when you call Quantum, you're calling a family, and we're going to do our best to support you that way.
Awesome. Well said. And Jay?
Only thing I would say too is this is just really kind of a global way of looking at things, but we really are determined from the top down to just take care of every client the best way we possibly can and continue to get better at doing that. And I think we all feel that the more we know that we can continue to take care of the clients and fulfill the needs that they have, regardless of what those needs are, it's really just kind of a domino effect, because if we're taking care of the clients that are using our product, then our providers are happy and our therapists are happy. And, if we can continue to do that and continue to break ground on just different innovative things, I think the sky's the limit for us. I said it before, it's nice to be a part of a privately owned company that really wants to be, like Dave said, the gold medalist for the next several years. So, it's just really trying to do right by the client. And I think if we can continue to do that and keep our focus there, sky's the limit.
All I have to say is that you guys are, and the feedback that I've gotten from ones who are Quantum clients who have the chairs, one thing they always talk about, and it's always across the board, the amazing customer service and the love that they feel working with Quantum. So you guys keep up the great work and show off those Under Armours. I mean, you guys are like sharp, man. I feel I feel out of place. So I gotta get you one. So
don't worry.
No, I love it. Until next time, everyone, please stay well, and we'll talk to you soon. I am about to brag on my Quantum family. I can call them my Quantum family because I'm a part of the team. What other just business out there allows you all this access to hear from ones who are making some amazing decisions on our behalf? Not only that, we want to hear your questions and your concerns. So whatever social media platform you're watching this on, if you have questions for our next chat that we're going to do with the team, please place them in the comment section. We will definitely try our best to get to those questions. So in closing, please take care of yourself. Please stay well. And don't forget to connect to us on our social media platforms. Where can you go again? You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and IG. And remember, it's Quantum Rehab on all the major social media platforms except for IG. It's Quantum_Rehab. So let's connect. Let's have some fun. Until next time, I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Please stay well, everyone.